Okay, welcome back to Forever Venture. We've been having quite a lot of comments about the difference between a manual gearbox and an auto gearbox doing off-road wing adventures. So I'll be having a couple of videos running in the background. These videos will be showing you obstacles that we've done in our personal vehicles and friends' vehicles. And you'll see the difference between a manual gearbox, auto gearbox, how it handles, and I'll be explaining as we go along, and in some cases you'll actually see what's actually happening and why certain things were engaged and why they weren't engaged. Anyway, enjoy the video and hope this will be helpful to you. Okay, in the case of this vehicle now, this is an automatic gearbox, and what was actually happening here is purely because all he was doing is trying to see what would happen if he hadn't engaged the four-wheel drive and then he engaged it into four-wheel drive afterwards, and you can see the difference there. But in the next video I'm going to be explaining how the rollback system works, so you can listen to that, and then later I'll explain the auto doing the same type of thing. What you're going to do is you're going to drive your vehicle up to the point and you're going to push on the brake and let it stall.
Right at the top.
Yeah, at the top. So you're going to be sitting like that.
Your wheels won't be on the top yet.
This will be on the hill. This is giving you the demonstration of what would happen if you went up something very steep and your vehicle can't make it, or just starts sliding and you can't go any further. What you do is you're going to drive up, you're going to push on the brake and you're going to let the car stall. Okay, once you're up there, you're going to pull up the handbrake, keep your foot on the brake, engage your into reverse, and then you're going to take the handbrake off, keeping your foot on the brake, release the handbrake, put your hand on the key, and then you're going to take your foot off the brake and let the compression of the engine hold the vehicle. Now she'll probably want to start going backwards. You're just going to touch the key.
What do you mean? What do you mean touch it?
Just to, as if you're going to start the car.
Oh yeah.
But you're just going to...
Oh, don't put it in reverse while the car's on.
Yeah, you're going to put it in reverse when the car's stalled already.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to put it in reverse once the car's stalled. Then you're going to take the key and you're just going to go jump. Just enough to get it to jump. Once she jumps, she'll roll back and the engine will start by herself. And you just feather your brakes. In other words, you're just touching your brakes just to give it a guide, but you do not push the brake because the vehicle will do that. So you want to now get your vehicle to just run back. This is a very short hill, so it's not the ideal situation.
We can use a longer one on the other side there as well.
We can do that as well. We'll do it here and we'll do it there. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to drive up, push your brake, let the engine stall, put it into reverse with your handbrake on. Once you're comfortable, she's in reverse, everything's in the right position, let go your handbrake, let her run back, and you just give it a tick just to help her to go. Then once she starts going, she'll start, and you just let her roll back, and that will give you guidance. Because what actually happens if you're on a very long uphill, and you're coming down, and you start pushing brakes, your vehicle's going to want to do this. So you let your compression of your engine bring you down safely. Okay. Okay, your foot is not on the clutch now, eh? Let go of the brake, hold the steering. Yeah, well done. Okay, in this situation you've got a Toyota Land Cruiser. Now you would not do the rollback like you would on a manual. In this situation you can only put her into low range and make sure that you're in reverse. Now once she gets to that point where she doesn't want to go anymore, like you can see here, then what you would do is put her in reverse. Make sure that you're just feathering your brakes. Do not push your brakes. In other words, you're just touching it so that the wheels don't lock. And then you would slowly go back. What actually happens here is a couple of problems. Pushing brakes too hard tire compound was too hard, tire pressure was too hard, and obviously with the wet, because it was raining at the time, the wet rocks was causing it to slip all over the place. It doesn't look steep, but it's extremely steep. Please, it does cost us quite a lot of money to do these trips. We often get damages as well. So if you can like and subscribe and give us your comments as well, it does help. Thank you. Okay, in this video I'm using my P series, which is my personal vehicle. In Australia they call it the Cannon. Now what we've done here is I've put it in low range, diff locks on, traction control off, and I'm in auto mode, not in manual, and I've pushed it a little bit because this is a difficult dune to climb. A lot of vehicles do get stuck trying to get up. It's got a lot of ruts in it, and yeah, she made it quite easy. And after this I'll show you how we engaged it. It's a clip that I'll be adding in that shows you all the different functions of how to engage it for this kind of terrain. And then I'll show you later how we went up doing it same way but a lot slower, so that I could see that the vehicle would make it.
The traction control is here, then you've got your diff lock on the other side, and then you've got your 4 low at the gear lever right here. When we start, I like to say start with this side first. Switch it off, check on your dash, it will say the seat's up. I'll start the vehicle now, I just want to show you guys, but it's not going to do it now because I'm not in neutral. So what you got to do is also put your vehicle in neutral. So put your vehicle in neutral first, then push that button to switch the traction control off, then engage 4 low, and then engage your diff lock. Put everything on, it's just better that way. You're not going to hurt your vehicle if you're doing something.
Now if I can just interrupt there, just keep in mind that if you're putting the diff lock button on, you can only do that if you're in loose sand, snow, muddy conditions, anything. Do not put that on in hard surfaces, because you will damage it. If it's a rocky terrain where the rocks are loose, you can do it. Do not do it on any hard surfaces or areas where there's paving or anything like that. You will damage your diff.
And too much turning. You don't want to do too much turning.
You must try to keep the vehicle as straight as possible.
Okay, well let's show you how everything looks on the dashboard. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, if you look down there, it says P at the moment. I'm just going to put it to neutral. And then the first button, like I said, is the traction control button. That one right there. Just go back to the dash. I push it, then it will say disabled. And then it will come up in the corner right there and it shows you that it's off. The next thing I want to do is I want to put 4 low. So I'm going to push 4 low. Okay, now you can see enabled, 4 low mode. And you can also hear, if you have your door open or your windows open, sometimes you can actually hear it when everything's still closed. You can hear everything engage. Okay, if you do push your diff lock, in the corner here you can see the diff lock has turned on now. And then you know, then check, make sure, look in the corner there, make sure that is on. Whoops, indicator's on. Whoops, indicator's on. Then make sure that exclamation mark is there. And if you are engaging diff lock, make sure the diff lock is there. If everything is showing, then you are ready to pull off. Okay, before you move forward, make sure, if you don't have your safety belt on, make sure that's gone. So we'll just push that down. Now you know that your handbrake is loose. Then the next one, put it into drive, and then everything is engaged and ready to go.
Okay, in this situation now, what my son did is he tried to get up there in two-wheel drive, which did not work. So he tried again and still didn't work. So eventually we got him to put it into four-wheel drive low, and you'll see that there's a difference then he could actually do it. Okay, what you'll notice is if you listen to the engine revs here while my son's driving, you can hear it's a bit erratic. What you must try do, and I know my Land Rover Discovery was precisely the same, try keep your engine revs as even as possible. It's not always possible, but as even as possible, so that your wheels don't start losing traction, gaining traction, losing traction, gaining traction. You want a constant acceleration right through the dips and the ruts and things like that. Otherwise you are going to have problems getting out of the situation. Okay, if you look in the distance, you'll see there's a road there just going over the mountain. Now, we took this trip to try find a way to a specific place where we go snorkeling. Been there many years ago and we had actually forgotten which was the route. Now, if you get into these kind of situations, it's actually best to rather just stop and turn around. But now you'll see that we got into this situation, making sure that I had my diff lock on, I was in low range, traction control off, because traction control can mess you around in sand. And once we tackled the obstacle, you'll hear that the vehicle got a little bit of scratches on the side and everything, because we had no choice. Once you tackle an obstacle, if it's going to be that type of obstacle that's going to get you into a situation, you need to push through till it's safe. We were going uphill, there wasn't going to be anywhere to turn around, so we had to push through till we had got to that point where it was safe enough to turn around. But as you can see, the vehicle managed this pretty well. We didn't have any situation getting through it and getting back, but it was not worth taking the chance to push on further. We were on our own, nobody would know we were there. There was no cell phone signal, we didn't have signal at the time, and we weren't in radio contact with anybody, so it wasn't worth pushing on. Okay, it was at this point that we decided to rather turn around, and going back down now, you'll see that when we go back down, I'm in low range, and she's first gear. I put her into manual at that stage, and she went down there all by herself, no traction control, no heel descent control either. I find that the low range on this vehicle is actually better with low range than actually descent control, because the descent control seems to be using your brakes the whole time, and I don't like that because it's unnecessary brake wear. Again, you'll have to determine from vehicle to vehicle how yours is going to handle there. Now, someone looks like we've got no choice. You have to pay the $50 and shit, this thing goes down, feels nice.
It's better than the Fortune, huh?
Yeah, no, she really goes down. Actually, wait, the Fortune was good as well.
But I don't think the Fortune did it this well.
Yeah, no, this thing really goes downhill nicely.
And you can make it go slower, can't you?
No,
You are in touch.
I don't actually like the descent control. I'd rather do it without descent control.
So this is not on descent control?
No. No, this is just the gears taking it. Okay, in this next clip now, this is back on a farm. This is with my old Hilux. You will have to put the vehicle in low range first with diff locks on here, because of the articulation and the situation that we're in here. Again, get to know your vehicle. Don't tackle obstacles like this if you haven't done them before. We've done this many a times, so we know what it's all about. But start off with small obstacles. Try and get a bit of training from somebody if you can. This is just purely just to give you an idea of how to engage, what to do with gearboxes and everything. We're not giving you advice to go and tackle obstacles now. The best way is to first go get a bit of training. So please don't use this as, well, now I've had the training and I can go out there and do silly things. This is only to get you to understand the difference between a manual gearbox and an auto gearbox. I hope this video has helped you, and if there's any other videos that you'd like us to make, please put it in the comments, like and subscribe so that we can help you out with it.